they are like giving women all kinds of hormones to stimulate the production of eggs, the harvesting of eggs, all of that. Yet a simple lifestyle change that is essentially free, it is going to be enough to improve your reproductive hormones by 38%. To me, like, it's mind-blowing.
Welcome to the She Stay Curl podcast, where we help women recover from chronic burnout. My name is Lindsay Christian, holistic menstrual cycle coach and burnout recovery guide. I'm so excited because we have a special guest, Dr. Aumatma. She is a naturopath and holistic fertility doctor, and she is here to help us learn so much more about our bodies as women. So welcome, Dr. Aumatma.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me, Lindsay. I'm very excited for our chat today.
Me too. I am so excited to get into this conversation because I know so many women right now are like fertility has kind of become such a hot topic. So I'm really excited to have everything you're going to share with us today. But before we dive in, can you share a little bit about what really inspired you to get into this journey of helping women with their fertility?
Yeah, I was already a naturopathic doctor at this point. I had been practicing just kind of general health and well-being, and my husband at the time wanted to start trying for babies. And every time he would say babies, my body would literally scream, "No!" And I didn't know it then, but in retrospect, like, my body was telling me no from the very beginning with him.
Mhm.
I just wasn't listening. I had on paper what looked like the ideal person for me to be with. But
Mm.
in reality, it just wasn't the case. So at the point of like, thank God we don't have children together, but
Yeah.
um, I just like knew every time that my body was like screaming this out, it
Mm.
was a call for me to just wake up and figure out like, what am I doing? Why am I in this relationship if I don't want to have children?
Mhm.
And my clock is running out. And what are my options, right? And I really started with this question of what can I do for myself to support my fertility so that 5, 10 years down the line when I was ready to have a child or children,
Mhm.
I would be able to. And everything that I had learned in medical school was anti that, right? It was fertility drops off of a cliff at 35, and I was
Mhm.
pretty close to that age. So, I was kind of freaking out like, "Oh my god, how am I gonna do this?" And the more I researched, the more upset I got that A, I hadn't been taught these things.
Mhm.
B, I felt like just kind of jaded about the lack of just general women's health knowledge, even for myself, but,
Mhm.
like, everyone has this lack of knowledge, right? It's not just me, it was just, like, everyone around me as I was talking about hormones, as I was getting into fertility stuff, people are like, "Oh my god, like, maybe you can help me with my fertility." And before I knew it, like, people were just coming to me from all over the place, like, "You can help me, you can help me." And and I was like, Okay, let's try it."
Sure.
Yeah, like, so it really turned into, like, kind of a snowball effect of just, like, searching for myself, like, for some real answers and for something that would have me just, like, feel a little bit more easeful about getting a divorce, finding the next person that I wanted to be with, and
Mhm.
maybe eventually having a child if that was the right person. So it took, it took like some degree of confidence to be able to step out of that relationship and just say, that's okay. Like, I'm going to be okay either way and I'll figure it out. And I'm really grateful that I did. Every day I look at my child and I'm like, oh, thank God. I'm so grateful.
Oh, I love that. And so many women are afraid, like, if they've been with a partner for so long and then they get, further down in age, they're like, "Oh, might as well just stay," and I'm like, "Ah,
Right, right.
no."
Yeah, I think, like, it's so challenging because it's really easy to settle settle, like
Mhm.
literally settle for whatever is thrown our way instead of asking like, is this really my truth? Is this in alignment with me, with where I want to be going? And is this my truth that I choose to accept?
Mhm.
And for me, like, I won't settle. Like, that's just something that I know about myself is like, I would rather not have had a child than to have a child with him, which I got very clear on. And then then it was pretty much a no-brainer. I was like, it doesn't really matter.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. Oh,
yeah,
no, I love that. You have to be willing to walk away and be okay with yourself, for sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm. And then how did your fertility journey go once you have your baby now? How do you have
My
more than one
chi
kid or just
No, I just have 1
okay.
and he's 7.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
Okay.
and I met my now husband literally 3 weeks after my divorce finalized. And granted, the divorce was like a process, and I was already dating and all that,
Yeah.
but, uh, like, literally 3 weeks after the divorce finalized, I met him on a dating app, and, uh, and we just hit it off, and, like, very quickly, he seemed to know that I was the right person. I think I developed that internal sense, like, I had to get over some fears of, like, making the wrong decision again, but he was very early on, I feel like he was having the conversation of, like, "Do you wanna have a child?" And I was like, "Oh, you already have 2 children. I thought you were gonna be done,"
Mhm.
like, I wasn't even expecting it. And he was like, "No, yeah, I wanna do this." And I was like,
Wow.
"Oh, okay." And it took he was ready sooner than I was, and he was just like, "Let me know when you're ready to start trying." And it took me 2 years of prepping my body. My hormones were wrecked, my gut was wrecked, I was recovering from burnout, like massive, massive burnout. Um, and I had healed some of that by the time I met him, but it was still gonna be a long road.
Mhm.
And as that healing happened and as I got to the point of, like, emotionally and physically ready to
Mhm.
have a child, I remember there was like, just before we conceived, there was a time when almost every time that we were together, he would be like, "Is today the day? Are we trying?" And I was like, "No."
Of
And I just
course.
kept saying, "No, no, no." And then finally, I was like, "Yes." And in that moment, we, like, conceived.
That
And
is
it was
amazing.
really weird story, but
I love that. That's like like a full body yes, you know?
yeah. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
And
and
how old were you?
I was 37 when we got
Ooh,
pregnant,
that's
um,
amazing.
and had the baby at 38, and, um like, through that was a whole rigmarole with my OB who was like, "Oh, you're a geriatric pregnancy. You're high risk," right? All of these things that she was throwing at me, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Do you really tell people this? Like, it feels horrible to hear it." And
Yeah.
she knew I was a doctor, and she was like, "Yeah, we kind of have to. Like, this is what the insurance expects." Like, women over 35, we just have to keep reminding them that they're quote unquote high risk, even though you're healthier than my average 18-year-old, I still have to tell you that. And
Wow.
that's what yeah, like, that's their reality, and she was an amazing OB, right? Like, I
Yeah.
loved her, but the and she gave me a lot of leeway. I would be like, "I want all these tests," and she'd be like, "Okay, sure." Which a lot of people don't have that opportunity, so I know that I was privileged in that sense, but she she was like it was cool to just learn, like, from their perspective, they just are practicing in a way that is supportive of insurance companies. It's not necessarily, like, how they would choose to practice if you were paying them out of pocket, right?
Mhm.
So At some point, I just started ignoring it. I was like, I don't need to hear this geriatric thing and like take it to heart. It just
Yeah.
what she needs to be doing.
Oh my goodness. And like our belief systems are so powerful in
Mhm.
creating those blockages too. But it sounds like you're a very strong-willed person to begin with,
I am,
which I
just a
think
little
helps. I think that helps drastically. So
bit.
that's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super helpful to not only, like, the will, but also, like, knowing the knowingness within myself that
Mhm.
I had done everything that I needed to do to have a healthy pregnancy. I actually for the first 5 months of that pregnancy, I was totally freaked out. No one knew I was pregnant except for my partner, and he was like, "Do you wanna tell your family? Do you wanna" and I was just like, "No." Like, I don't know. I woke up with these, like, horrid nightmares that I was
Mm.
gonna have a pregnancy loss, and most of it, like, I had, like, taken on all of my patient stuff, and
Mm.
we, like, specialize in recurrent pregnancy loss, so those were a majority of my patients,
Mhm.
and, of course, like, looking back at it now, I know that it was just me, like, kind of feeling on edge that I was gonna be having the same outcomes as my patients, you know?
For sure.
But, like, underneath that, I think there was always a knowledge of, like, I've done so much to get to this point.
Yeah.
I have done everything that I, like, guide my patients to do and beyond that. And, uh, like, if I would have had an adverse pregnancy, it would have been fine, like, I would have handled it, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
But I know that I was embodying, like, all of this fear, and
Mhm.
it helped me really, like, drop into what it feels like when someone has had a loss and then they get pregnant, like,
Mhm.
I can't even imagine the level of fear that is happening
Yeah.
in their bodies, and I think that some of that fear often is, um, activating old trauma and old wounds that then end in a pregnancy loss, so
Mhm.
it's a cyclical loop that, like, physically feeling all of those hormones in my body that were raging all the time,
Mhm.
I really had the opportunity to, like, get an insider view of what that experience is like,
Mhm.
and even more want to not only continue supporting recurrent pregnancy loss women, but just feeling like, "Man, they're going through so much, and why isn't there better support for this?"
Yeah.
Um, for someone that has never had a loss, that had done all the things that like, literally, I ticked all of the boxes that we have, and
Mhm.
still, like, being in that amount of, like, "Oh my god, any day today, I'm gonna have a loss."
Yeah.
For 5 months, that's a lot of hormones floating through your body
Yeah.
and having that experience, and I was doing emotional like, mental, emotional, spiritual healing work
Mhm.
alongside of it. I was calling all of my friends, like, "Do a session on me, please." And they're like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "I don't know, I'm stuck in fear mode."
Oh,
And
yeah.
I couldn't tell them that I was pregnant. So it was just like, they're working on me and trying to support me, but they don't actually know, like, why I'm in this mode and why I'm stuck in here. So it was kind of a journey, but I feel like I learned so much from that experience, and then, like, the postpartum journey, kind of lots of things happened there, but, more like burnout and more trauma that, again, I feel like so many women are not getting support with this, right?
Mhm.
Like, we're not paying attention to women in that postpartum period. We don't have a lot of support systems set up, and again, like, going through it, I was like, "Crap, like, we need to do a better job supporting women in this entire life cycle, not just to get pregnant or not just pregnancy, but really, like, that whole journey."
Mhm.
And how do we do that better?
And it's so true. It's such a long journey, that we don't realize. I think sometimes we take this mindset that it's kind of like luck of the draw or like random, but there's so much more to it than that. And so, how many couples have you worked with?
Gosh, I feel like I lost count at some point, but we're like above 1,200 probably.
That's
So
a
yeah,
that's a
it's
lot.
not a ton, but it's
Oh, that's a
like
lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's enough to feel like we can systematize the stuff that we do
Mhm.
and create kind of a supportive ecosystem rather than them feeling like, "Oh, I am not certain if this is gonna work or not."
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow. And out of those 1,200, probably more than that,
Probably.
um, what is there, like, a common denominator that comes up that is, like, linked to some fertility struggles that they come in with? Or is
Huh.
it all different?
L Like root cause kind of common
Yeah.
denominator?
Uh-huh.
I think there are a few, that people probably don't think of often.
Mhm.
I think a big one on the physical side is just toxins, and I think toxins are kind of a present day reality that is not going away, right? Like,
Right.
we're always gonna be exposed to toxins. There are new toxins all the time. You
Mhm.
think you're doing well, and then the rug is pulled out from under you, and you're like, "Oh, crap. I thought what I was using was good." And I've had those moments. So there's never you can't get it perfect, quote unquote, but
Yeah.
you do what you can and you try to stay ahead of it. And we try to keep our clients and patients on it so that they can understand that toxins are kind of a fundamental thing that you're going to have to deal with before you try to get pregnant.
Mhm.
So, toxins are definitely a big one. The other one that I think is probably surprising for a lot of people is that even if you're getting pregnant, there is factors on the male side that can be affecting whether or not you get pregnant, how quickly you get pregnant, and most of all, whether or not you stay pregnant. And
Mm.
that last one is the most surprising one because people don't realize how much the sperm actually has to do with whether or not you'll have preeclampsia, gestational diabetes,
Mm.
recurrent pregnancy loss. There's so many factors on the male side
Mhm.
that are never tested and completely ignored.
Yeah.
And if men get tested, it's usually just sperm. So there's this whole other piece of like you can have perfectly fine sperm, but things are happening under the surface in your body that may not be showing up in what we're able to test with the sperm. The
Mhm.
sperm testing is just not advanced enough to catch and understand everything that's happening in the body. So
Mm.
so I think we have, that's a major component for us, and
Okay.
all the times we have women that are like, "It's just me. It's just my problem. Please just help me." And I'm like, "Yeah, just not gonna do it." Like, if
Yeah.
your partner is not here and on board, we do not need to be working with you because
Right.
even if we do everything amazing on your side, we have only still increased your chances by 50%.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So, so I just won't sign up for that, and people get really upset with me that they are reaching out and they're like, "But it's just my issue and I have PCOS, so it's my fault." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's not the reality, and we need to undo the cultural, um, mindsets around what we tell women about their fertility and how much responsibility women are holding around the fertility and pregnancy journey that is actually more even than they realize."
Mm. Yeah, I mean, we're 50% both of our parents, so, I mean, I think that that belief system has always been like, okay, like, because we kinda, like, helped to develop the life,
Yeah,
like, in the woman's body, is just this belief or assumption like, "Well, it's all on me," which is,
right.
like I think it's just kinda like this mindset of, like, the man just kinda drops things off and is like, "Okay, see you later."
Yeah,
We just
I'm
do,
like, "I'm done.
everything else after that.
Yep, my job's done. I don't need
Yeah,
to do
bye.
anything else." Yeah,
So, I'm so glad that you brought that up because that is really important that and I think that, highlights how important it is for us to take care of our health because so
yeah,
many men, obviously they're more like risk takers and kinda do whatever,
yeah.
and they don't have, like, their cycles to kinda give them that feedback to let them know, "Hey,
Yeah,
like, yeah, we're really
things are
off
out of
here."
whack over here too.
So, that's really
What
good. Uh
what's cool though is that science is catching up, and I think this just came out last month or a couple months ago. There's a really new study that came out that says that male sperm quality actually declines more with age than egg quality in women.
mm,
So we have the fertility world is very much still women centric. So when a woman doesn't have adequate eggs retrieved, or they get 10 eggs but only 3 of them fertilize, they're telling her, "Oh, it's your egg quality." But what they're not paying attention to is this other side of the equation. And traditionally, men have been told, "Oh, your sperm are good forever. And you're 70. Who cares? You can still impregnate this woman," right? Like, there's
yeah,
no acknowledgement that things are actually declining steadily on both sides. And it's not just female responsibility, and it's not just a female issue. So
mhm,
I very much talk about this other side that I have just seen over and over again, like, in like I said earlier, recurrent pregnancy loss is kind of our favorite thing to work with,
mhm,
and, uh, I would say 95% of those men have issues on their side, never understood or even evaluated, that are contributing to the pregnancy loss. Get
mhm.
hands down guaranteed. 95% of them. So
Wow,
it
that's a high number.
yeah, and for all of the recurrent pregnancy loss world to say, "Oh, it's the immune system on the female side. We need to just shut down her immune system." They'll give her prednisone or some other, like, immune suppressing
Yeah,
medication to have her continue that pregnancy.
wow.
But in reality, like, no one's looking at this other side of it. So yeah, I I could probably just rant on that for an hour because it's very imbalanced in my opinion, and, like, I don't really understand how that happens in a culture, in a society, but it's been since the beginning of time that women have been taking on the brunt of the issues when it comes to fertility. The third thing is more of a mindset. I don't know what to even call it, but it's this idea that we need to control the outcomes, and this desire for control, which is often in all of our lives.
Yeah,
It's the control, it's the, like, kind of burnout that a lot of women are not even acknowledging,
mhm,
or it's, um, like, hormones are burnt out even if she doesn't feel burnt out. So
mhm.
there's these, like, kind of, mental, emotional, spiritual things that are happening under the radar that, again, go kind of ignored, kind of, I think we acknowledge, like, "Oh, yeah, don't stress," but whatever is that going
Right.
through for us, I'm not sure.
Oh gosh, yeah. Wow, so much, like, powerful information in that and stuff that we just don't think about. I think everybody's just so fixated on like trying to take action. And it's like, okay, I timed it, like I tracked everything. Okay, it didn't work. Like what's wrong? Like why isn't this working? And I think that's either they go deeper and like, okay, what's really going on, or they just kind of give up. So I'm happy that you mentioned all of that. And I think, especially from the male side, like there's this, I think the belief comes from, well, they're always producing new sperm. And,
Mm.
like, women are, like, born with all the eggs that they have, so it's like, "Well, you're getting older, your eggs are getting older,
Yeah,
and his sperm is new, so it's you're the problem." So,
right.
um, but I think that's so important to recognize, just because, like, something new is being created, like, there has to be like, the quality has to be there, and like our lifestyles have changed drastically over the years too, where people are not like getting outdoors and like just doing natural stuff that the body's used to. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the things that we as humans, we are part of nature,
Yeah.
yet we're so disconnected from it. And the disconnect is contributed to by things that actually stand in our way.
Mm,
So, for example, we have lights. The invention of light
yeah.
was an amazing invention. It allowed us to be more productive and have longer days
Mm,
and be able to be inside where there are no windows for natural light, right? Like there was a benefit and there was a cost.
mhm,
And then that expanded to, oh, now we can create phones that have light coming off of the screens, and we have computers that have light. So we keep adding to the as technology advances, and like I'm not anti-technology. I love it.
yeah, me too.
But we wouldn't be here without it.
Right?
But there's always a cost. And if we're not cognizant of the cost of doing, mm, of being technologically advanced,
Mhm,
then we pay for that with the fundamentals of our biology and physiology. And we know now, 80 years after all of the technological advancements, that the losing the day and night rhythm, the circadian rhythm, is kind of at the fundamental root of all hormonal issues.
mhm,
And now we have studies going in the reverse. So we know through scientific research data that just following a sleep and wake time that is consistent and ideally is timed to the natural sun, even if it's like, sure, I'm not going to bed at 6:30 when it's dark outside, right?
right.
Like, I'm just not doing that. But if I can go to bed at a reasonable time, like 9:30 or 10,
Mhm,
that, and to not be exposed to blue light leading up to that. So when the sun sets, I try, like, I forget a lot of times, but I will try to put on blue light filter glasses if I'm still at my desk or if I'm on the phone, still wearing blue light filter glasses
mhm,
so that I cannot tweak my brain out as much from the
mhm,
light that is coming off of the screens after sunset, which is the crucial time
mhm,
to allow the brain to create the hormones that it would create at nighttime, core of which is melatonin, and and then go to bed at a reasonable time, and then wake up ideally with the sun or close to it in the morning. That is going to have a 38% optimization on female hormones. And male
wow.
hormones, I'm sure it's the same. So that alone that one shift in your lifestyle is enough to support your reproductive hormones. So here
Mm.
we are, like, giving women all kinds of hormones to stimulate the production of eggs, the harvesting of eggs, all of that, right? Like, we control all of these things
Yep.
externally. Yet a simple lifestyle change that is essentially free, like, any of you listening to this can go and do this today. It it is going to be enough to improve your reproductive hormones by 38%. To me, like, it's mind-blowing
That's
that
huge.
that simple of a change can have that much impact. Um, and so it's stuff like that that, like, as we get away from nature, we're gonna have costs that our body is paying for that. And it doesn't mean we shouldn't do them. It just means that we should be aware that every time we take a step out of nature, we're going to need to compensate in some way.
Mhm.
And the quicker we learn that all of these things don't come without a cost, the better, right? And, like, I've been contemplating a lot about the AI stuff that's happening in our world, and most of it is really cool,
Mhm.
but very aware that the more that AI takes over our lives, the less we're actually thinking. The,
Mhm.
like, critical thinking skills are declining. There are people that are essentially, like, plugging stuff into AI and letting it do everything for them, and in the process are losing their cognitive skills that I think we are paying a cost to AI. And if we can compensate, if we can support our bodies and make sure that we don't lose the thing that is fundamental to us
Mhm.
while adopting this new thing, then we will succeed.
Mhm.
And if we lose our fundamental, then we're going to have issues down the line.
Mhm. I'm really glad you brought that up, especially about the part about control, which I find, like those that tend to be more on the holistic side and like kind of have that mindset and understanding. That's kind of where I'm coming from. There's this conflict sometimes when people are used to, like, "I just wanna take a pill. I just wanna have
Mhm.
this result. I just wanna do this.
Yeah,
I don't wanna change my life. I don't wanna
yeah.
do the other things. I just wanna change."
Yeah,
How do
yeah.
you kinda navigate? Do you get that sometimes? Or when people
A
come
lot.
to you, are they already in the mindset of, like, "I want the natural approach to just start changing things?"
Oh, no. No, and I think control shows up in so many ways. In
Yeah.
the fertility journey, from the very beginning, we as women, that are often used to succeeding,
Yeah.
are type A high achievers,
Mhm.
are generally oriented to control. That's what's gotten us to where we are in our lives. So now
Mhm.
we come in with this issue of, like, not getting pregnant on the very first try.
Mhm.
Then we're like, "Oh my god, what's wrong with me? Why did I get pregnant?" Without realizing that there's only a 25% chance of getting pregnant in any given cycle when things are at their optimal
Mm.
in our 20s. There's a 25% chance, and it's just going down from there. So, this is not, this is not something that you can just magically control, and, without realizing that, we're, like, kind of beating up on ourselves
Yeah.
because it doesn't happen right away. And
Mhm.
then probably 3 to 4 cycles in, we're like, "Okay, what do I need to do?" And you go online and you research it and you're like, "Oh, L8 strips, that's what I need to do."
Mm.
And then L8 strips have a really funny outcome, which is now they're telling you exactly when you're ovulating, or they're even 12 hours before you're gonna ovulate, but let's just assume this is what most people know is L8 strips tell you when you're ovulating. Um, Then they're texting their husbands in the middle of the day at 2 o'clock, like, now, I need you to come
Um,
home right now and impregnate me. And the outcome of that is then you have a partner that's like, screw you, I'm over it. Like, I
yeah.
don't want to keep doing this. It's fun for a little bit and then it's not fun.
Yeah.
So we are now controlling our partner,
Mm.
who is then going to feel pressured. The number of men that don't want to have sex with their wives or are basically like have ED every time she's like, now is the time. And
Oh
it's
gosh.
like a psychological thing is like,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't impregnate her the last time. So now, like, even more pressure. So they're feeling all of this pressure
Mm.
and it's not happening. So you're actually making it worse when you are trying to control him. And then and then you're like, "Okay, 6 months, 12 months has gone by. I'm still not pregnant. Now it's time to control my hormones." And we walk into IVF clinics that are like, "Great, let's shoot you up full of hormones to first we'll give you birth control so we can control your cycle. Then we'll give you hormones that will stimulate the development of follicles. Then we'll give you hormones to stop ovulation so that we can like go and pluck all the eggs. And then we'll give you hormones to implant and hopefully keep that pregnancy." So we have hyper control in the IVF cycle. So when
Mhm.
women come to us and they will try to control us in the same way that they want to control their partners and their IVF cycle and all of that. And when they realize that they don't have control because we're like, "Hey, we have a process and the system works if you work the system.
Mhm.
But if you come in and you're like, but I want these supplements because my neighbor's best friend's husband was successful with taking these supplements. Why aren't you giving them to my husband?" And we're like, well, because he doesn't need those.
Right.
Right? It's that simple. Like, he doesn't need those. Those are not the right things for him.
Mm.
Or like, my IVF doctor gave me this list of 30 things that I should take. Why aren't you telling me to take them? And we're like, because it's not about that. That's not what got you here.
Mhm.
And we have to continue challenging them, which makes our job like 30 times harder.
Stressful.
Because it's like now not only are we doing our process, now we have to like accommodate for this woman. We have a 42-year-old right now who's like, "Give me the GLP-1s because everyone with GLP-1s gets pregnant."
God.
And I'm like, "Actually, that's not true." Like, there's very little data on this, and like maybe it would be helpful, but let's try some other things because you can't be on GLP-1s when you're pregnant. Like, that's not gonna
Right. You have
so
to eat and nourish your body, and that's
yeah,
suppressing your, like
yeah. And and she's, like, complaining that her $200 worth of supplements every month is expensive, while GLP-1s literally cost $350 on the low end, $750 on the high end, a month.
Mm.
So, I'm like, "You're complaining about the supplements, but you want GLP-1s that are gonna literally, like, double your budget every single month."
Mhm.
And she's like, "Yeah, I just want the GLP-1s." So, like, it is really important, and we try to, like, iterate this from the beginning, and people just don't get it, is, "Look, you hired us to be the expert. Relax,
Right.
and you may know things. I get it. You learn things, you're looking shit up online, you're looking at all the Facebook groups. I totally get it. I know that there's a lot of information, but our job is to take that information and actually like weed it out for you so that you're only needing to focus on the things that are actually going to move the lever for you. And if it's not going to move the lever, move the needle forward,
Mhm.
then it's not the right thing for you. And we're evaluating every single thing coming at us with this. Like,
Mhm.
what is the best course of action? What is the next best step for this person? And then the other place that it will show up is, I want all the tests and I want all the supplements. And I'm like, okay, and that's gonna cost $20,000 to do all
Right.
the things. And
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh my god, too expensive." It's like, well, you asked for all the tests and all the supplements.
Right.
But the cost that they don't realize is there are practitioners out there that will do that, but what they don't realize is that taking all the supplements at once is the fastest path to failure
Yeah.
because supplements, as safe as they are most of the time, are going to have an impact on the liver.
Mhm.
And if I kind of explain them as like, hey, these are signaling compounds. They should be signaling to your body how to do something or what to do exactly.
Mhm.
And if you're giving 40 different signals all at once,
Mm.
your body's going, oh, do you want me to go right or left or straight? And all the signals are telling it all different directions. Then the body is just getting confused and is gonna be like, "Well, I'm just gonna stall here because I don't know which way to move."
Right.
So you've just, like, created a cyclical loop where the body's not actually moving forward. Yet we have so many people that are like, "I'm the expert." And I'm like, "Okay, then you don't need to be here. You
Right.
wouldn't be here if you were the expert because 'cause you'd be pregnant already." But let's assume you're the expert and then you don't need us, like, let's just call it. So,
Yeah.
we do fire people because it's like they're spinning their wheels with every practitioner, and
Mm.
they're trying to control every part of the process, and they will, like, go and double check and triple check all the things with someone else. It's like, "Oh, this person gave me these things, what do you think?" And I'm like, "Well, if you don't trust us, like, why did you pay us? Like, let's
Mhm.
call it, right? Like, you don't need us. So, go work with that other person or go do that other thing because it doesn't actually make sense."
Mhm.
And and I often go back to like, so many of the practitioners that I train with fertility are like, "Oh my god, AI is gonna take our jobs." I'm like, "Never. Never is AI taking our jobs."
No.
Because at the core of it, I think that true healing happens in the relationship, in the listening and holding space for someone.
Mhm.
And AI can't do that for you.
Mhm.
AI, no matter what, cannot like, it can coach you, it can guide you, it can tell you what to do, but it can't hold space
Mhm.
like another human,
No.
at least for
Yeah.
now.
There's no comparison, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will not feel heard, seen, understood, and held in the way that you need in order to get to your fertility goal.
Mhm.
So, like, when people are in that space of like wanting to control or here's the plan that AI came up with, can I just do that? And I'm like, well, if you want to follow the AI plan, go for it. But AI doesn't have 20 years of fertility experience with
Right.
real people.
Right.
So,
It's just spitting out what we know.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And like I discovered very early in my fertility practice that research wasn't enough in the sense that there was back in the day there was a lot of research and every fertility clinic still gives a solution which everyone should take DHEA because it supports egg quality.
Mm.
And I read the research and then I tried it on my first like 3 patients. I giving them DHEA and they would come back with symptoms.
Mhm.
And I was like, "What happened? I don't understand why you have symptoms. I
Mm.
don't understand why it's not supporting your egg quality. I don't understand why your hormones are going out of whack."
Mhm.
And I had to take a step back and say, "Okay, let me really understand the physiology." And DHEA is a hormone that goes into testosterone that then goes into estrogen.
Mhm.
And pushing DHEA often pushes testosterone, and
Yep.
if their pathways are screwed up, is actually pushing androgens.
Yep.
So the breakdown products of testosterone and causing all kinds of symptoms
Mhm.
that you wouldn't expect.
Yep.
So I realized like, oh, I see. So I need to know what people's pathways are
Yeah.
so that I don't give the wrong thing that's going to trigger some weird reaction that I didn't expect. So
Mhm.
now, like, only maybe 10% of people get DHEA, and it's based on, like, are we gonna push the right things? Are you actually low? Uh, and what else? Like, is this actually gonna, like, get us closer to the goal? And most of the time, it's not.
Mhm.
So we go from something that the research says is amazing
Mhm.
down to, like, it's actually amazing for the right person.
Right, for who, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and research is not telling you that. So,
Right.
if AI is reading all the research and saying, "Hey, here are all the supplements that are good for you," it has no way to filter out like, "Hey, actually, this is not the right fit for you,
Yeah.
and this is why." Then we have a really different dynamic and a really different understanding of what is valuable for someone and what isn't. And that's what I think a lot of people don't realize is like we're doing so much processing
Yeah.
before we say, "Hey, this is your plan or these are your supplements." We're like I was giving someone an example. We had talked about this woman for 45 minutes on a team call with 4 different brains
Oh, wow.
to be like, if we give her this one thing, it's gonna push this, but it's gonna wig this thing out over here, and if
Mhm.
we give her this thing, it's not gonna work with her epigenetics. So, like, we went through so many different pathways to get to one supplement for her, and she's like, "Can I take all of these? Can I take ten different things?" And we're like, "Yeah, no, you can't, because we just processed all of this, and this is the right thing for you." And
Mhm.
And people don't realize, like, it's not just a list of supplements, right? It's not a, "Here are all the things that you should take, and it's magically gonna get you pregnant." It's, there are the right signaling compounds for the right person at the right time
Mhm.
is what's gonna make a difference.
Yeah. Wow. And that I think that's where that control piece like, now I'm listening to you, and I'm
Mhm.
like, I think the control, part of the mindset can create so much blindness
Yeah,
because we can get fixated on the outcome,
yeah.
but we are not, able to see the full picture of what's creating the outcome.
Mhm.
And then we are looking outside instead of inside to, like, all of these other results that other people are getting, and we're not in tune and connected with ourselves enough to know that may not work for me, and, like, I think the most important thing I just took away from you right now is, like, you and your team are really, like, taking this time, you're caring, you're, like, pouring into that client, the woman that's coming to you, but she's so stuck in the control and the fear that she's not trusting.
Yeah.
And I think it comes down to trust. I
Yeah,
think that that's what it sounds like to me, the
yeah,
common denominator is lack of trust in
yeah.
the whole process.
Yep. Yep, and lack of trust in our bodies,
Yeah.
right? Like, we've cultivated this lack of trust because we're like, "Oh, well, I tried this and I tried that and I tried
Mhm.
that and none of it worked. My body's just screwed up. I'm broken. Or
Mm.
something's wrong with me."
Mhm.
And then that's reiterated by the medical paradigm. Instead of taking a step back and saying, "Oh, the things that you tried were great. They just were not the right things for you."
Mhm.
And when you go to someone who has experience combined with the compassionate care that it takes to listen, to access their own intuition, and to combine that with knowledge, and then take a step that is like, "Hey, this is gonna be the thing that moves the needle."
Mhm.
That's a very different paradigm, and it's hard for people to understand
Mhm.
because we don't live in a world that supports that. We have a lot of cookie cutter practitioners too, right?
Yeah.
Like, not every practitioner is that. So, you go to someone and you're gonna get a list of supplements and you're like, "Well, I already took all of those things."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "I totally understand. I get it. I know you have done a lot and you've worked with some really smart people,
Mhm.
but let's just try this with a different mindset."
Mhm.
And it's hard. It's even hard for me sometimes because 'cause I'm like, "You went to really smart naturopathic doctors who are my colleagues who I respect a lot." But I have realized over the time that it's really a system and the mindset that we have about things in terms of like, "Hey, if you don't work on this layer first, then going to layer 6 is not gonna get the result."
Yeah.
So, you look at the supplement list and you're like, "Oh, I already did all those supplements." It's like, "Yes, I get it." But you did all those supplements before you fixed layer 1.
Right.
And it like, when we follow the system, then we're like layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, layer 5, layer 6. When we get to layer 6, the supplements that you've already taken, they are working very differently in your body because now you have all of the foundations built up.
Mhm.
So, people often want to skip the foundations and they wanna jump all the way to the next thing, the next greatest supplement.
Mhm.
And instead, we're like, "No, just slow it down so we can speed it up." The slower you go with us, just stay where we are. I promise you, we'll get there so much faster if you just stay with the plan.
Yeah.
And that's really hard for people to understand. And if we like, I feel like the greatest gift that people that we work with give us is trust. And it's the trust the trust that you give to your practitioner, whoever that is,
Mhm.
and the trust that they instill back into you about your body's abilities together is what does the healing, if
Mhm.
that makes sense, right?
Mhm.
Like, some practitioners will you give them your trust and they're like, "Great, you trust me, and I'm gonna do with it whatever I want." Versus the practitioners that are like, "Great, you trust me, and as we go through this process, I'm gonna show you how you can start trusting yourself."
Mhm.
Right? I'm instilling that back into you. So by the time you get to the end of the journey, you're like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna get pregnant. Of course this is
Mhm.
gonna work." It's not a
Mhm.
question of, "Oh my god, is it gonna work?" It's like, "Absolutely, I know that it's gonna work because I feel drastically different from when I walked in. I
Mhm.
know I've done all the things, and I know how to understand my body in a new way. I know what my signals are. I know when I'm ovulating. I no longer am controlling my partner." And all of those things lead to the ideal scenario for conception to happen.
Wow.
And it's actually, like, way faster if you just, like, let go and surrender.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. I love that. That I mean, like, I'm just, like, soaking it all in right now because 'cause I'm even having, like, thinking about my own journey, and I, like, walked into that with the DHEA too. Because like, when I got burned out, my hormones was totally out of whack,
Yep,
and I
yep,
didn't know, like, I'm, like, trying to research and, like, study hormones, but I don't really know the base of understanding everything on a full picture the way I do now, which
yep,
took, like, years for me to get to this space, and I was like, "Oh," like, I heard this thing said DHA is, like, really good and, like, brings back, like, your youth, so I took the DHEA and I was like, "What the hell? I got more chin hairs, like, this is not working," but my
yep.
insulin was high. "Yeah, you're
Yep,
gonna get more."
yep.
So, I didn't know
Yep.
that, and I was like I knew right away, I was like, "Oh, this is not for me, I'm not taking this anymore." But it's like you have to really take time with yourself
Yeah,
and to build that relationship with your body and know that your body is so wise. Even when it's out of whack, it's
Yeah.
still trying its best to protect you. It's really
Yes.
it's doing its best, you know?
Yeah, it's protecting you and it's telling you like, "Hey, pay attention.
Yeah,
Something is out of whack here.
right.
Are you listening? Are you paying attention to all the things, or are you being gaslit into believing that everything's fine and you're normal?
Mhm.
Everything's, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
your labs are fully normal. You don't need to worry about it." Until you, like, walk into the IVF clinic and then the docs are like, "Oh, no, you need to worry about it. You're too old. Your eggs are too old. You have poor egg quality," right? Like, all of these things that you're like, "Wait, why didn't you tell me that 3 years ago when you told me everything was normal?"
Right.
Right? Like, so I think it's just so important, and we see, like, so many of these weird, I feel like kind of opposing things in the fertility world that don't fully make sense. And it's because we haven't really, as a society, figured out what when is IVF the right solution?
Mhm.
And when is it important for me to learn about my body, to not blanket over symptoms with "It's normal, just take birth control, it's gonna be fine," instead of being like, "Hey, the pain that you feel every freaking month is not normal.
Mhm.
Your cycles changing in length from 40 days to 26 days is not normal."
Mhm.
Um, all of these things that I think, too often just get passed off as, "You're fine, you're fine, you're fine." Until they are, like, suddenly not fine, and none of it is okay. And it's two extremes that just don't fit together. So, I think we have a long ways to go in supporting ourselves to understand, like, "Hey, everything that's happening is happening for a reason." Our body is constantly talking to us and saying, like, "Hey, something's out of whack, like, we need to pay attention here."
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean it's "bad," quote, unquote. It just means that your body's giving you the feedback, and if you can listen and adapt, that feedback is actually really, really helpful in helping you stay in an optimal, balanced, not burnt out state.
Mhm. Ugh, it's beautiful. I know we're, like, at time, but, you answered my question because before I came in, I was like, how is it that we're in, like, a lot of high resource environments where you have women struggling with fertility, but then you have spaces that are, like, low resource or, like, women may not have access to, like, all these other things, but it seems like they have kids with no problems, like, what's going on? Like, clearly, like, they're in a survival environment too, like, what's happening? But I think that control piece, like, that to me is, like, what's really standing out, and
Yeah.
then trying to not just control the mind, but trying to control the body so much that the body's like, I don't know what you want me to do, like, you're suppressing me, like, we're
Mhm.
doing the birth control for 20 years, I don't know what's going on," and then you just expect, like, right away that
That you're gonna get off of birth control, first cycle off, you're gonna get pregnant. A
yeah.
like, I always say, there are people that this is gonna happen for. I have a friend who was, like, same age as me when she was pregnant, and she was like, "Oh, I got off of birth control, and then the very next cycle, I was pregnant." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Good for
That's
you.
yeah, like, good for you, but that's not the reality for everyone, right?
Yeah.
So, I think it's so important to realize that we need to learn our bodies, and, like, every time I talk about this, I'm like, "Man, we should just be educating young women about their bodies now," because the level of education, I feel like we're probably closer in age. Um, we didn't get that education
No.
as young women. It just didn't exist. So, I think that is, uh, so important that we realize that we need to learn more about ourselves and what it means, and and just like let go of the desire for controlling everything, because that's what we've been taught. It's
Mhm.
just not necessarily what we need.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you so much for this beautiful conversation. I know so many women are gonna want to get in contact with you or, like, connect with you more. How can someone find you?
The best place is Instagram at holistic fertility doctor.
Okay.
Instagram. I'm also on TikTok, but less so. Don't message me there.
Yeah.
Um, and and for women that are listening that are like, "Oh, she said some things and I wanna understand my body better. How do I do that?" We've been working on a tool that is totally free. It's called madrefertility.com for now. Um and you can go to this website and be able to answer some questions to like have our algorithms better help you understand what's happening with your body.
Oh, that's awesome, and that link will be down in the description, so I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for everything that you've shared. It's just been so eye-opening working with you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for having me, Lindsay.
thank you.